In this video, we will introduce event handling. Websites crave interaction. As developers, we have the ability to create dynamic web pages by using events. Events are actions that can be detected by your web application. Following are the examples of events: a mouse click, a web page loading, taking mouse over an element, submitting an HTML form, a keystroke on the keyboard. When these events are triggered, you can then use a custom function to do pretty much whatever you want with the event. These custom functions called events. Here I have a jQuery basic.jsp. Let's take a look at the jQuery code. Here inside our document.ready, we have the hash and the name or the ID of an element. So here we select our element with an ID of cache. Once we have the element, we bind a change method to it. The change event is sent to an element when its value changes. This event is limited to input elements, text area boxes, and select elements. For select boxes, checkboxes, and radio buttons, the event is fired immediately when the user makes a selection with the mouse. But for the other element types, the event is deferred until the element loses focus. The method we bind it to is our onSelectChange method, which changes various aspects of our page. Now let's add an event that will change the color of our table cells when we click them. So the first thing we do is bind a click function to our TD elements or table cells. So again, we should know by now that this is going to grab all the TDs in our page. This is going to bind our function, which we specify as click, and we also create an anonymous function which will handle our event. So here's the code that will execute when our event is triggered. We select the parent TR or table row and then call the toggle class method, which adds or removes one or more classes from each element in the set of matched elements, depending on either the class's presence or the value of the switch argument. So we will just toggle the class div color, which is part of our CSS right here, and we make it into a yellow color. Imagine writing this in JavaScript without jQuery. This would take a lot more scripting. Now let's demonstrate our functionality with our web app. I'm going to be opening up the web address using the internal web browser. I have the internal browser open in a tab, and if you don't have it open, just select Window from the Workbench menu bar, go to Show View, and select Other, making sure that the general folder is open, and select Internal Web Browser. In the address bar, I will enter the address to our jQuery basic.jsp. Now let's click on the table cells and see what happens. We can see how we're able to toggle the color of our cells in such an efficient manner with jQuery. This concludes our discussion of handling events in jQuery.